Hey everyone, I'm here. I'm not too happy, but I'm here. I've been trying to set up a printer, and it doesn't work at all. Complete bullshit. This printer that I bought says it works with Windows 7 through 10, but does not work at all with my computer. It doesn't, basically it just says it's busy constantly. Won't print, won't scan, won't do anything. Just gives me errors. Oh, it's busy.
Yes, you heard that right. DSP doesn't only have issues with complex machines and electronics like PCs. Oh no, it gets much worse than that because he has difficulties with even simpler machines like printers. You know that thing that every single office worker across the entire country pretty much knows how to use at this point? Yeah, DSP can't manage that. And the printer is brand new, he really shouldn't have any issues with it at all. But in typical DSP fashion, of course he's incapable of doing the simplest of tasks. And I gotta point out that this made him late to the stream. This messing around with the printer that is completely unrelated to the stream, you know, the thing that pays his bills, yeah, it made him late to the stream.
Oh, it's busy. Really, it's busy. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I come back later? Right? With this fucking printer that I bought, it's too busy to do what I bought it for. No, I guarantee you what it is this printer doesn't have any software that, like, is compatible with Windows 10 when it comes to, like, the ease of use software. You know how they have software that's like, oh, it's the easy, click here to do this, click here to do that, or whatever. It doesn't have that. All I did is install drivers. So basically my PC detects it. It knows it exists. It says, yeah, working properly. No problems.
Well, if it installed the drivers and your PC is detecting it, it really shouldn't have any issues printing the page then, should it? I'm not quite sure why you need some sort of ease of use software. All you have to do is go to the page that you want to print, hit print, and then select the printer and it should print. You don't need some sort of third-party software to do that. My experience with a printer has always been it is pretty much plug and play once you connect it. But of course, we've got to blame it on the fact that DSP's got this old outdated version of Windows that he just can't upgrade, you guys, because his PC might literally explode if he did, or something, whatever he says.
So then when I go to print, why doesn't it print? It says, oh, it's busy. Cannot print. Busy. How is the fucking printer busy? Like, what are you talking about? What sucks is I need a printer because, sadly, we live in a year, even though it's 2023 and it's about to be 2024, we live in a year where some idiotic places and companies and things still require you to print things.
Yeah, DSP, sometimes you have to print things. Why is this such a difficult concept for you to wrap your mind around? Printing isn't exactly the most arduous task possible. I mean, if it really came down to it, you could go to your local library like I can mine, and I think they charge about 15 cents per page. So if you had 2 pages that you needed to print off, you could literally hand them 30 cents and you could get the job done. You really didn't even have to buy a whole new printer. But that would require you to go outside, which at this point you're pretty much incapable of doing. I mean, as long as it's not going grocery shopping for both of your cats, I mean.
You can't just do everything online. I wish I really could. But I still have to, every month I have to print certain forms and mail certain things in order to get them to work, which is incredibly stupid. Just really, really incredibly fucking stupid. Obviously that shouldn't be the case, right?
He says obviously that shouldn't be the case. Like they're doing him some sort of disservice. Like they're actively disrespecting him by requiring him to print something off. When again, he could go somewhere and have his pages printed off for very cheap. But of course, he's got to make himself a bigger and bigger victim. So he just had to buy a brand new printer and he just had to have issues with it instead. And I've never seen anybody have more technical issues than DSP either. So it's not like whatever business or institution that he's dealing with, because of course he's gonna leave it vague, can really plan for people to not be able to print when, I'm gonna say this for the 3rd time, you could go to somewhere like the library or your local Kinko's or whatever and get the shit just printed for super cheap.
But it is what it is. So I just tried, you know, I plugged it. You think, oh, plug it in. Now, by the funny part about modern printers, they don't come with software. They don't come with instructions. They just give you a piece of paper with a website. Oh, just go here.
I mean, yeah, that's a fairly efficient method to communicate information at this point. Why would they need to give you software? It's pretty much plug and play on a printer. Like I said, from every experience I've ever had with a printer, you just plug the shit into your computer and make sure it's turned on and it's pretty good to go. And I'm not quite sure why you would need a physical instruction booklet if they give you a website that you can go to that'll have all of the information that you need. That just seems like a waste of paper. But this is of course the guy who continues to keep track of all of his business finances on an actual physical sheet of paper, instead of keeping track of everything online digitally so that he always has access to it and he's never going to like accidentally spill his coffee on it or something and mess up all of his numbers.
So I go there. It's like, oh, so plug in your printer. Okay, it is. Oh, okay, click here, download some software. Okay. All right, so now it should run setup. So it does. And it says, yeah, your printer's working, and it doesn't work. You're done. You have no software you can use. No, not even like a program you can open, right, to see like features or anything, right?
So I'm gonna ask this question because I know the answer is obviously no, but DSP, have you tried just turning everything off and then turning it back on? Like both the printer and your PC it's connected to? I know this might sound like a really obvious question that the answer should just clearly be yes to, but I don't think it is for DSP, because he has expressly said in the past that he doesn't turn off his PC or his laptop almost ever, because for some reason he has some strange fear that everything is just, again, going to like explode or something. I'm not quite sure what his fear is, in all honesty. He thinks everything is just going to mess up because he restarted his computer. I don't know why he thinks that that is going to happen. As someone who turns off their computer every single day, multiple times a day when I'm just, not using it to save power and the components, yeah, I've never had that issue. In fact, I actually have the exact opposite issue. Every time I turn my computer off and I boot it back up, pretty much everything comes back right where it was. All of my web pages open back up as soon as I click the browser. All of my programs for doing videos like these instantly remember exactly where I was and ask me if I want to recover and just go back to doing what I was doing. So again, I'm not quite sure why he thinks that everything is just going to mess up. Like, it's not just going to pick up right where it was before he restarted everything.
So pretty stupid. It sucks. Sorry, that's why I'm late tonight. Here I'm thinking, came in here early. I came in here over an hour ago. I think this will be easy. I've had no issues with printers in the past. I mean, the last printer that I had here for, I got set up in 2017. That took like 5 minutes to set up.
So he's been spending an hour trying to figure out how to get this printer to work. That's just crazy to me. I'm not a printer expert. I don't have my degree in printology or anything, but I just can't imagine how complex a printer would have to be in order for it to take an hour to set up. And I know this can seem like a really mundane thing that DSP is talking about, and I agree, it absolutely is. But these are the things that he views as important enough to talk to his chat about. These are things that he thinks is important enough to show up late to the stream for. The thing that pays his bills, yeah, he's showing up late because he's sitting there messing around with a printer. Completely unrelated to the stream. It just strikes me as disrespectful to the audience to make them wait for a show that was supposed to start on time because you were messing around with a printer. This is Mr. Reliably always there, on time, set schedule. You can guarantee he's gonna be there. He's got one of the hardest work ethics on YouTube. But he shows up every single day late to the stream, and then this time exceptionally so, simply because, again, he was messing around with a printer.
Literally 5 minutes set up, no problem. But we're in the year of 2023 now, so things got to go backwards, right? Everything's going backwards. Everything is more complicated, less functional, right? Let's be honest here.
I guess I gotta give him that. A lot of shit is getting more complicated and less functional. I swear to God, if I buy one more thing and it asks me to hook up my phone to some sort of app, I'm gonna go mental.
That's just how life is going, right? I literally just bought a cheap one too. I don't need anything but basic printing and basic scanning. That's it. I don't need photos. I don't even care about the color. All I want this damn thing to do is basically to print a few documents so I can pay bills and, tax stuff once a year and scan for tax stuff once a year. And that's it. And it won't work.
So it's for bills, which we can assume he has to do once a month, and then he also wants it for taxes that he has to do once a year. To me, this sounds like the kind of errand that can be run once a month and you can pay your 30 cents or whatever and just get it done like that. I don't think that you really needed to spend $80 to $150, let's say, for a printer at home when you could have done it for 30 cents at a time once a month. And I say this as someone who doesn't own a printer. Somebody was just giving me shit IRL for not having a printer in my house, and I just don't know why I would need one. I don't print anything, and when I do, I'll just go somewhere and have it printed. I've done it in the past and I will continue to do that. Having a printer for me, as someone who, again, doesn't have to print things, is just a waste of space.
Nothing I can do about it. It's just very frustrating. I'm sorry. That's why I'm late by like 20 minutes, because here I'm in the middle of doing it and just won't work. I'm like, no, this is so stupid, right? Now, after stream tonight, I'm going to have to spend more time fucking with this thing. The only thing I can think of is restart the computer.
And there it is. He couldn't even be bothered to restart the PC before getting on stream and complaining about how it wasn't working and it was so stupid. Couldn't do the very first thing that everyone is told to do by every technical support person on the planet. This is why him getting on stream and bitching about things like this just gets under my skin so bad. Because I know that he did absolutely nothing to actually try and solve the situation before getting on stream and crying and whining like the little baby man that he is.
This guy installed it. It should work right out of the box like that without a restart, but maybe the restart of the computer would fix it. That's the only thing I can think of. You know, people were like, why don't you use wireless? I don't have wireless. I don't have any wireless setup in this room. There's no wireless connected to my anything in this room. There is no wireless. The wireless you're talking about is downstairs, and that's just for like cell phone use and stuff. That has nothing to do. My PC is not connected to any wireless network.
Yeah, you friggin' morons. You don't know that DSP pays for 2 separate business internet lines? I mean, he's only talked about it about 1 billion times this year due to this stupid Comcast shit. And I'm not just talking about the weird troll detractor Comcast saga thing that we had recently. I mean, he even was talking about it when he was renegotiating his contract earlier this year. He went into great detail about how he absolutely needed his 2 business lines. The one downstairs is all for the phones that they use and all of their wireless devices, and the one upstairs was exclusively for all of his business shit. It's like his dents don't even watch the content, but I do.
You know, so whatever. So that's what I'm gonna do after the stream. After we're done, you know, streaming and recording, I will basically restart the computer and mess with it more, and hopefully it works. And if not, now I gotta fucking repack and return this whole fucking thing. Then I gotta order another one. I don't know what to order. My problem is my PC is Windows 8.1. I literally can't update from Windows 8.1. I can't. My computer's 10 years old. All the components are over 10 years old. Many components in this computer would not work with modern Windows.
And that's already been proven to be completely false by other people, so I'm not gonna do that. You'll just have to take my word on it or go find their videos. But absolutely, his computer could have been upgraded to Windows 10 when it was, you know, free and they were doing the free upgrades. But if he wanted to do it now, he could even get a $20 CD key off of something like cdkeys.com and just get Windows 10. I don't know why the man who knows zero about PCs thinks that his computer components are too old for a new operating software. Why does he want to sit here and pretend like he knows something about PCs?
So all I can do is mess with it and try to get it to work. Now, if it doesn't work, the other option would be trying to get it to work with the mini PC, which is over there. You know, I'm trying to think like what would be the viability of that, because I do all my business work from this PC, like paying bills, scans, emails, everything. It's not easily accessible over there. Everything's in front of my TV.
What the hell does that even mean, Phil? I mean, really, what did he just say there? That he uses his PC to pay all of his bills and do his scans and access his emails. Those are all things that are done on web pages and can be easily swapped over to the mini PC. All he would have to do is log into those websites where he pays his bills and log into his email, and he would have all of that shit just on the mini PC. But no, dude, he totally can't do that because there's stuff in front of his TV. How about you clean that goddamn pigsty that you live in? How about you pick up all of those cords that are creating a fire hazard directly in front of you? Quit using your own disgusting mess as an excuse as to why you can't do something that you probably should just do if it's actually going to solve your problem. But I gotta remind you that he's thinking about all of these alternative solutions when he didn't even bother to restart the PC yet.
I wouldn't be able to do anything easily from over there. That would be a major pain in my ass if anytime I'm gonna print, I have to fucking turn on the mini PC and use the keyboard and mouse in front of my giant TV in order to fucking try to do anything like that, because this thing won't work with my other PC. That is just so dumb, you know? Really dumb.
I mean, if you consistently had to do it, you could just leave the setup over there and it would probably be even easier for your old man eyes because you refuse to use the glasses that you're supposed to wear. No more tiny text on that terrible monitor that you have over there, DSP. So it kind of sounds like a win-win on your end. But of course, DSP can never have a win. Everything has to be a loss, because if he continues to lose, people might feel bad for him and give him some pity bucks. And that's about the only way that he's going to continue to make the kind of money that he needs to live his lifestyle.
But I guess we'll have to see. Excuse me. Fed Roger, goodbye. Enjoy your time out. And if you fucking talk shit again, you're not coming back. You're an idiot. Thanks. Okay.
So for all my audio style listeners, you might not have seen that I actually put what Fed Roger said on the screen, but I'm going to read it to you so that you don't actually have to look at the screen. He said, such a hassle to move to the other part of the room. And of course, he's absolutely right, which DSP hates. He hates when he gets called out for being a lazy piece of shit. So of course, DSP had to lay the smack down on him and send his ass to ban world. But if this was just a one-off DSP talking about his printer like this, I don't think I'd really be covering it because it really is just so uninteresting. But because it was a topic of discussion for 2 days in a row, I felt like I had to talk about it at least a little bit. So now we're going to go into the second clip, which is again brought to you by Doody Streams. Big ups. I appreciate it, brother.
Stuff that it happens every once in a while. I don't think it's anything lasting or big. It's just annoying. And quite honestly, it's nothing too huge. First of all, so yesterday, my new printer arrived. I've talked about this a few times over the course of the last week or so. My printer died, and I've had a printer since 2017.
I'm really curious as to how he keeps going through all of these household items like vacuums and printers. I feel like my mom's had the same printer for the past decade and she never has any issues with it. And so has my grandmother, who is much, much older than DSP, so it's kind of wild to me that he can't figure out a printer, but she can. But I guess that's really neither here nor there, but what is how does he keep breaking these things? These devices are definitely meant to last longer than DSP is using them for. I guess maybe when ants start to get into all of the components, they tend not to run as well.
And it's very basic. It was just like a flatbed scanner with quick, inkjet printer. It wasn't meant to do anything crazy, but I need it. Operating a business, I sometimes need to scan documents. So I sometimes need to print something out, a form, and fill it out and mail it and stuff like that. It just so happens that I actually, I deal with a couple businesses and entities that live in the past. They live in the Stone Age, and they require you to actually have like physical printouts to pay bills and stuff, which makes no sense whatsoever, but it's just how it is with some companies. They lag way behind.
Yeah, DSP, do you really want to start throwing rocks from the glass house that you currently reside in? Because I can think of a lot of different ways that your business also continues to lag behind and always has. I mean, you yourself said that you think that the problem in this situation is the fact that your computer is too old. Is that not you lagging and falling behind other businesses? Is that not you failing to modernize and keep up with what other people are doing? I mean, how long did it take you to upgrade your webcam? And you didn't even do that till somebody gave you a better one for free. How about the upgrade to your lighting? These are all things that are supposed to be helping your stream and increase the quality, and you couldn't be bothered to do that. So don't sit here and act like you're better than these other companies simply because they want you to print out a document. Something that actual adults do all the time in their day-to-day when they actually go to work. I mean, you might know that if you were a real adult instead of just LARPing as one.
Okay, so I need a printer, and I had one since 2017. It finally died. Like, it just would not print black at all. Even if I changed the print heads or cleaned the print heads, changed the ink, still wouldn't print. Obviously, the thing's dead. So I just ordered a quick one over a week ago off of like Amazon, like the fastest one, and it didn't show up till today. All the shipping with Christmas week and everything, it just kept getting delayed and wouldn't get delivered, and it finally showed up yesterday, excuse me.
I believe when he says that he ordered the fastest one, he's not talking about how quickly it prints, but instead he's talking about how quickly it would get to his house. And you heard him, it took about a week to get there. Obviously, I have to ask, if he needed a printer that bad, why didn't he go to his local Office Depot or Office Max or whatever office style store he has in his area and just go get one? Hell, he could even go to the local Best Buy and find a printer. Then there would be no question about when it's going to show up. And if he had these issues with it, he could take it back to them and tell them that it doesn't work. There would be no concern about having to box it back up and send it back if it didn't work. He could just get a new one when he took the old one back. So many of his problems could be solved if he just left his house when he was really required to leave his house.
Oh, and then yesterday I hooked this thing up and it says, oh, it works with Windows 7, Windows 8.1, Windows 10, compatible with like every version of Windows in the last 20 years. Don't worry, it shouldn't be a big deal. And I'm like, well, that's good because my PC is old and has Windows 8.1. I can't upgrade it because there's so many old components in there from over a decade ago that likely they wouldn't work with Windows 10, so I'm not messing with that, but I just need very basic print capability, so let me just order some cheap one. And, yesterday, I came into my office almost, I would say, an hour before when I would normally start my gameplay stream for Like a Dragon Guiding.
So in the last clip, he said that he was in there an hour early, and now it's almost an hour early. I know that's a small nitpick, but you just can't ever trust anything that the guy says. He cannot accurately represent anything. I know sometimes when you're somewhere for like 40 minutes, you'll say you were there for an hour. I get it. But when it comes to the guy, every single detail is absolutely crucial because you need all of the details that you can gather to figure out what is and isn't the truth when he decides that he is 100% going to lie on purpose. And for both of our sakes, I'm going to speed up this next little bit because he's just repeating what we already heard from the first clip.
And I plugged the thing in and come to find out it has no software whatsoever with it. Zero. No disk. No nothing. Just go to this link. Okay? So I go to the link and it says, all right, so did you plug your printer in? Yeah, it's plugged in via USB. All right, click this link. And it downloads files, but all it downloads is like drivers, right? It doesn't download like any software that you can use to use the printer. It just downloads drivers. And it says, all right, so the drivers are installed. Click here to print a test page. Okay? I click test page. Oh, sorry, printer is busy. Can't print. It's busy doing what? I look down at the printer. It's not busy. It's just sitting there.
It's so funny that that was his thought when he heard that the printer was busy and he's like, oh, it's just sitting there, because that's exactly how we feel about DSP when he says that he's super busy and hasn't had time to do all of the things that he's supposed to do to keep his household in order. Oh yeah, guys, I haven't had time to go to the dump and get rid of all of this trash that's just been piling up in my house and garage. I'm just far too busy, dude. I just don't know how anybody can live like that. His time management skills are absolutely abysmal. He would be absolutely unemployable in the real world because he just wouldn't get anything done. That's why he's stuck here doing this without another option.
And it's funny because this printer it has buttons, you know, you could actually do all the things you want to do with the printer through the printer itself rather than through software. So let's just see if I can scan a page. I go to flatbed scanner, I put a thing down, scan, beep, 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 doesn't do anything. I'm like, scan, beep, 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 does nothing. Huh? So what the hell's going on? I don't know. So basically I spent an hour trying to get this thing to work before my stream yesterday, and wouldn't work.
Again, spent an hour, not about an hour, but an hour trying to get this thing to work, and he never bothered to restart his computer. I don't know how you spend an hour trying to troubleshoot anything without just restarting the goddamn device.
So I started my stream late last night, okay, apologizing to everyone. Sorry, I was trying to get this printer working. You know, it wouldn't work at all. After my late night stream last night, I restarted my computer, okay, and I went back in, and I tried to print again, and it worked.
Wow, imagine my shock. It's almost like there's a reason that that's the first thing that you are always told to do when you are troubleshooting. Restart the connection, turn it off and on again, make sure all of your cables are plugged in properly.
So it needed a restart, but it didn't say it needed a restart. So the print works, but the scan, I can't figure out how do I scan, right?
Oh, so all the responsibility for him being adult is completely taken off of his shoulders because it didn't tell him that it needed a restart, of course. Just like when his car didn't tell him that he needed an oil change after, what, 3 years? It's almost like most people just kind of generally know that they need to get an oil change in their car, and most people just generally know that if things aren't working, you just restart them. They shouldn't have to tell you these very simple things, DSP. They shouldn't have to tell you that the coffee is hot. They shouldn't have to tell you not to drink the paint. In all honesty, if you can't figure those things out by yourself, I'm not convinced that anybody should be telling you.
So I start searching my computer and come to find out, like in device manager of Windows 8, you can see your printer, and if you click on it and you right click on it, it'll say like scan. So I go to use the scanner, but the scanner is the weirdest scanner I've ever seen in my life. It's a flatbed scanner. So I say, okay, let's scan. And it'll like scan, but it like auto detects segments of the sheet you're scanning, and it separates them into different files. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I've never had any experience like that. I've never seen that. I'm going to have to just chalk it up to a skill issue, DSP, because with you, that's usually a safe bet.
Why is it doing that? I just want one file scan. Just scan the sheet of paper. No, this quadrant is file 1. This quadrant is file 2. This quadrant is file 3. I said, what the fuck is going on? This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, right? So then I was like, well, what about if I just use the printer itself? What if I don't even try to use any interface with Windows? So the printer says flatbed scanner, and again I hit scan. This time it works, and it scans it to my computer as one of those PNG files, and it looks great.
I mean, real talk, it just sounds kind of strange to me that you were trying to scan through device manager when there was buttons on the actual machine itself that could have scanned for you. It just seems like those would have been the very first option. If you don't have to involve the PC in a process, you probably shouldn't. That just makes sense to me. But I love how he sounded so unsure when he was talking about what kind of a file it was. It's a PNG or something? So I guess shout out all of my PNG enjoyers.
So I'm like, all right, so I can basic print, that works, and I can either select color or black and white, and I can scan. That's literally all I need it for, right? But you would think that should have been like you plug it in, it loads in a couple minutes, it works. No, this thing needed an hour of me trying to figure out where all the shit was, restarting the computer and all of that.
No, but that's patently false information, DSP. It didn't need an hour of troubleshooting. All it needed was you to restart the goddamn computer, which would have taken, what, 2 minutes max? It absolutely would have been plug and play for any normal, sane, human being style individual. But because this particular printer was bought by a pig roach man with a gin-soaked brain, it was a more complicated process than it needed to be. But as always, DSP did everything correct. He did nothing wrong. Sound good? Sounds good to me. And by the way, categories.
It's a mess. What's funny is they do have a program that you can download that basically makes all this easier. It's called their Scan and Print Suite program, right? Oh, cool. Can I get it? No, it only works with Windows 10.
But I thought before you said there was no sort of third-party software that you could have used. Now there is one, it just doesn't work for the operating system you have? I don't know, DSP, it kind of sounds like you're flip-flopping the story details. I'm not buying it. If I was any more conspiratorial, I'd think that this is a sneak bag for a new PC. Because it just so happens that everything recently isn't working well with your operating software, and of course, you can't update your operating software because your components are too old. So you just have to get a whole new PC or something. But again, that would only be if I was more conspiratorial. I don't know, man.
So they sell a printer that says compatible with 7, 8, and 10, but the actual ease of use software for it only works with 10. So there you go.
So there you go. That's going to be the end of this video. There was a little bit more on this clip, but it was about his YouTube videos not uploading properly and not about a printer, so I don't think it was relevant to what we were doing here. Of course, another big shout out to Doody Streams for the clips in this one. I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you, thank you. Of course, a big shout out to everybody who watched the video, especially if you made it this far. A super special big ups to all of my members. I really appreciate all of you guys. You have no idea how much it means to me. Thank you so much. I hope to catch all of you guys in the next video, but until then, make sure that you check out other Detractor channels and dive deeper into that. Snortex.